Hello all and welcome back to another review. So I just got back from St. Louis Comic Con and I picked up a few things. And one of them is this Goodsmile Link from the Legend of Zelda. And this is the Windwaker version. Let's go ahead and check out the box. If you're not familiar with these are sort of a super deformed, kind of chibi sort of figure of popular characters. I've bought a few in the past, but since they started, when I was at New York Comic Con last October, I run across a Mega Man one and a Mario one, and that sort of kind of got me back into it. So let's go ahead and get this guy open and see what all he comes with. So out of the box, we have a blister pack here, and it's got a variety of faces, legs, arms with weapon, some hands, shield, sword, heart for his life meter, a swoosh. So this is sort of a special effect part that's starting to become more popular these days. And then a little instruction sheet. And this just sort of shows what all it comes with and how to do the head. So let's go ahead, pop these open. Lately, a lot of places have been putting tape on these blisters, but it does not seem the case with this one. But it does hold pretty securely, even though it does not. And here we have a stand. And while it's not entirely pretty, it gives you a variety of different configurations. And being clear, it really is not that big of an issue because it doesn't stand out as much. But you have your figure stand, and what looks like an accessory stand, another joint. It's not. It looks like a Revoltech joint, though it's not. It does not have the ratcheting effect. And then another stand here. So. There's that. Go ahead and move this out of the way. One bit of warning, I don't think there's going to be an issue on this one, but whenever you get any kind of figure and it has this plastic on it, always go incredibly slow, because it kind of bonds the paint a little bit in some cases, and you don't want to damage your figure. So this one has one on the face. A lot of times you'll see them actually in the ball socket that separates the head to keep it from banging, but this one is just on the face. But it's underneath the hair, so you'll have to, there we go, kind of wiggle it apart. There we go. Now we have the plastic off there, and you can see the inner workings of how it all kind of snaps together. So let's go ahead and set that aside, and there's one more piece of plastic on his waist. So we'll just work apart the waist. It's got a clear little peg in there, which is actually kind of interesting that they would use a translucent plastic, as those tend to get brittle over time, but this seems a little bit flexible. So we've got that. We can put his cap back on, and what that looks like is just an extra neck joint. Maybe if that one breaks, hopefully that won't be the case. I have had parts of these figures break in the past, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it if you don't repair it on your own. So try to work, yeah. So there's a groove in there, slides in, and you'll know it's in when it's flush. There's a little stopper in there. And we can look at our face options. So that's sort of an angry face, kind of an action face, like running in a battle. Happy face. And more of a scowling face. So we're going to use, for this review, I think I like the action face best. So let's go ahead. Slide that back in there. Okay, it all fits nicely together. They do an excellent job with their sculpting and their paint detail, especially with the way they handle the eyes. Alright. And then we have our figure. And I think it's an overall nice design. So let's look at our posability. So he has hip joints, and that's it there. Arms can go up and down, hands can rotate, head can turn and look around. It's not. They did a good job designing the torso so it's not a lot of limitation, so you can get some fairly decent movement on the neck. And then what we can look at, and to get a better aesthetic, not adding the joints here, but adding replacement limbs. So first things first, let's go ahead and get him on the stand. I'll remove these, and you can get some good jumping poses and stuff, but you just got to be careful when you bump into it. So okay. Oh, and I guess you can kind of count that as a waist swivel too. So now, so this stuff doesn't fall out, go ahead and put the head to the side. We'll look at what kind of accessories we have. So we have a swoosh here. That's pretty cool. Use this for other figures as well. Another set of legs. I guess this is for sort of a crouching position. Got a wand, another hand, and these are at sort of a better bent angle. And this is gonna be used for a sword. So we'll just go ahead and pop that arm out. All right, sword hand slides through. Put on the end. It's nice and seamless. I like the bent arm, so we'll pull that hand, swap around. And yeah, it's a lot of parts forming, and it takes away from the action part of it, but I think it makes such a nicer looking figure. And we have our heart here. Your little accessory just pegs in. And this stuff's designed, I mean, it can come apart pretty easily, but it doesn't break too easily. So, okay. Now, their stands can be a little bit weird. You kind of have to configure them to get what you're going after. I think there could have been better ways to have made that stand. I'll go for the other route. Yeah, that end sits in there a little bit better. Okay. There we go. Alright, not too keen on that stand right there. I don't think that is entirely great. So if you use that end, it's a bit too loose. And this end is firm enough, but then the other end is a little bit loose. But you can make it work. Yeah, that's gonna be probably about as good as that's gonna get. So this piece a little floppy here. That's sort of a knock on this. But I'm not as worried about the accessories as I am just the main figure. But for the price, it's a nice addition. And then we've got a shield, which we'll need the other hand for. And it just has a rod in the back. And I like that it has a ball joint in there, so you can work it around different angles and not have to worry about that the wrist always works with it. So it gives the illusion of a little bit more. I'm going to take the heart away just because I'm not keen on that. See better. I hope they do accessory kits with him like they did with the Mario set. Now, the way this works, as you can tell, there's no ports on it, at least visible, that would peg into a holder. And what they've done, if if you look right here, there's a little sheath-sized section, and it slides right over the blade. And his arms will hold that up. So that's a really cool accessory. It just adds a little bit of dynamic motion to the figure. So rotate it that way, like he's backslashed. Very cool figure. Not as keen with this. See if I can make some better use of it. And this other stand here, this is actually to help support that in case he can't hold it. It might take a little bit of strain off the blade, but it just rests on that. I'm not going to probably use that though. And unfortunately, well, there's a port. So, okay. Let's go ahead and remove this so it's out of the way. And just so you can have a better visual field. So here we have him. And you've got these smaller ports for this item. And they are a little loose. Some are tighter than others. So you'll have to kind of play around. That's probably my biggest gripe about this figure, is that you just kind of find a port that works. Probably add a little bit of shoe polish or something to the end of this, and I think that'll help it. But overall, build quality of this figure is great. The aesthetic is excellent. It really captures the energy of the character. Definitely a fan. And before we go, so I think these are around $50 to $60. I think it's a pretty good buy. That's what you expect for these. So I have Mario here. Dropped his mushroom. And what I've been curious, so this is, we'll find out right now, is if you can mix and match parts. So his hat comes off that way, and you can see his head shape. But his head does not appear to split like the others. So let's go ahead, we'll pop his head off. But it gives you a way of, I mean, it's just kind of fun to play around and see what mixes matches. So you can kind of have Link dressed like that, though it's not going to look great. So really, head swaps. It would be nice if you can put his hat on him. You can kind of rest it. It doesn't sit right, to sort of do some crossover looking figures, but unfortunately that's just not the case. So you could have Mario still in Mario Cap playing Link and vice versa, but that's about the best mix matching you're going to get. And I did try Mario with an older figure I have, and it's the same situation. The head shape and all that is different, the way it connects. And it is a shame. It would be cool if they did design these in a way where you can cross everything over and kind of make some different configurations. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Anyway, great figure. Definitely worth picking up if you're a fan of Windwaker or any of the other, super deformed kind of ideas with these toys. And stay tuned, because we'll have more reviews coming up. I got a couple more things from St. Louis Comic Con that I'll be taking a look at. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.